While not a big name in the United States, Toshiaki Fujino has spent the last 15 years developing some of Japan's most consistent shoot-'em-ups. The one-time Konami programmer has seen his arcade hits find their way home on everything from the Dreamcast to the Xbox 360. Now he's bringing one of his earliest arcade games to a new home, your personal computer. Originally released under the name G-Stream G2020, DeltaZeal is a by-the-books vertical shooter that sees armchair fighter pilots shooting down an entire army's worth of tanks, planes, and submarines. The goal is to survive long enough to defeat the large bosses and end the war once and for all. Instead of hurtling through space, our hero spends most of the time skimming over the planet's surface. Perhaps it's because the game kicks off with us flying over an ocean on a cloudy day, but this fast-paced shooter reminds me a lot of Capcom's popular 1940X series. It won't take long for DeltaZeal to send us into the war-torn deserts and jungles, each capped by a massive boss fight. While the levels may be constantly changing, the action largely stays the same. There are only a few weapons to power up, including the standard spread shot, homing missile, and laser beam. Picking up items will add fuel to your special weapon, which can create a black hole to destroy especially pesky enemies. If that's not big enough, we're given a few bombs to drop, something that should give you more than enough time to regroup. Outside of that, there's very little variety to the gameplay. Like so many arcade shoot-'em-ups, DeltaZeal is over in a hurry. Even with alternate paths to take, it won't take long to defeat the enemy forces. The game hopes you'll want to speed through the levels over and over again, perhaps tackling different difficulty settings. Completing the game will also unlock a number of bonus modes, including the score attack. It may not be much, but it does give players an incentive to return to the classic shooter from time to time. The visuals are sharp, though nothing you haven't seen before. I was especially impressed by the diverse levels, each with a different color palette and large boss to contend with. DeltaZeal has an attention to detail you rarely see in this type of game, and it leaves a great first impression. The same can be said about the music, which is old school in the best way possible. There are no gimmicks here. DeltaZeal is a no-frills shoot-'em-up designed for people who can't get enough of dodging tiny bullets. But as much as it gets right, this arcade port is marred by shallow gameplay and a short campaign. Worst of all, it spends so much time getting the details right that it fails to establish its own identity. DeltaZeal may be consistent, but it's not essential. Hey, thanks for watching the video. This may sound a bit far-fetched, but I'm suddenly inundated with shooters to review. Not only am I going to take a look at 12Zeal, but I'm also working through Pixel Junk Shooter Ultimate and a game called Voxel Blast. In case you missed it, we also posted reviews of Arcana Heart 3, Love Max, and Slipstream 5000. Oh, and we counted down Nintendo Power's top 10 games of 1990. That was fun. So do me a favor and click the subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.